Hello everyone. I'd like to say thanks to High Bank Orchard first of all, and thanks to Keith for inviting us here today. So, ladies and gentlemen, the psychobiotic revolution has begun. No longer is bacteria your enemy. Doctors are now proven, and scientists as well, that the gut-brain connection is having a serious effect on your mental health, your immune system, and your digestive tract. So, what we try to do at KO Kombucha is bring organic, healthy, and delicious kombucha to the people of the world. Okay? My name is Roland Cochran, and my partner is Tracy Armstrong. She's at home with our little boy this evening, and our business is called KO Kombucha, which is a knockout dose of goodness for your gut. All right. So I've got that all out of the way. So I'm going to tell you the story of who we are and how we ended up with a kombucha business in the Midlands of Ireland. So my background is in art and design, and Tracy's background is in marketing and management. So we moved over to London in 2012 when the recession was on, and we worked for large organisations for a number of years. And we always had this idea that we wanted to start our own business and do something that was more beneficial for people rather than corporate. So Tracy's background is a marketing manager for Hello magazine, and I worked in Tate Britain, Tate Modern, Sotheby's Auction House in Arthander, and I worked for a company called Mosaic del Sur for 3 years, managing and setting up a business. So I had the experience to set up my own business with Pierre Babin at Mosaic del Sur, but I didn't really know what way I wanted to take the leap or what I wanted to do. So I was there in the middle of the summer in 2016, and I was lying on the couch, fell asleep. I woke up and I looked up, and Tracy was standing over me like this, and she goes, "They did it!" And I was like, "They did what?" And she goes, Brexit happened." And I was like, "Fuck." And then the next thing I said was, "I don't want to be here anymore," you know? I really, really meant that. Like, I really didn't want to be in the UK anymore. And within a year, we'd moved back to Moat in County Westmeath. So in that year, I managed to fall out with my boss, get sacked from my job, and I ended up being awarded unfair dismissal. And Tracy went back to work after maternity leave, so I was slap bang minding a new baby in East London with no job, right? In January of 2017. I was so stressed out of my mind, right? But I'd actually been brewing kombucha for about 7 or 8 months at that stage. And, no, about a year at that stage, actually. It was from the September before. And Tracy got me this course in a place called the Fermentarium. And that was actually happening the week I got sacked from my job, right? So I did the course in the kombucha to try and get better at it. And then I said, right, I'm going to just move back to Ireland and start a kombucha business. Okay? So I had this big, massive bag of naivete on my shoulder. And I was carrying that around with me, just thinking, okay. So over the space of the next 6 months, I practiced and I brewed more kombucha and I sold it to people and I gave it to my friends, gave it to everyone, started tasting and sampling and looking into organic certification and organic farming and trying to make the best possible kombucha that I could make and come back to Ireland and offer a premium kombucha to people in a small batch brewed grandma technique method that not many businesses do, right? Tracy decided, right, I'm going to get on board now as well. And I'm going to quit my job and we're going to both do this together. And I'll do all the marketing and you can do all the donkey work.
Living the dream.
Well. So anyway, yeah, moved back to Ireland with a new baby as well. And then we threw ourselves into working together. And we had all the optimism in the world, right? Which is something that you should have in abundance if you're starting your own business, right? And we moved back to Ireland, and everyone started telling us about how hard it was to get money off the LEO, and how hard it was to do everything, and how you won't do this, and you can't do that. And sure, who's going to buy Moundy water off you? So I said, right, Jesus Christ. So we moved back anyway, and I ordered one 75-litre tank from Polsinelli Angola in Italy. And we gutted out a spare room that we had in the 2-bedroom apartment that we were in. And everyone was like, well, where are we going to stay when we come down to stay with you, you know? And I said, well, I'm making a brewery out of this room, so you can just leave me alone. So I got my dad to come over, he's a handyman, and we built a rack in the corner of the room, and I put a load of tiles in the other corner of the room, and I put a sink into the room, and a little tiny water filter, a little reverse osmosis filter, and I started brewing kombucha commercially in a spare room, right? So, once again, optimism, naivete, in abundance. Bought 2 more tanks, and I said, right, once I got my first tank up and running, I ordered 2 more tanks, and I got the stuff from that tank tested in Portlaoise, in AES. So, got the environmental health officer out. Everyone that came to the house was like, knocking on the door, like, what the fuck? What's going on here? And I said, yeah, it's just in here. And I was like, the child is in there. Confused. Yeah. So, yeah, I'd open the door and they'd be like, oh, right, there's actually something here. Like, they thought that I was just doing it in the kitchen or whatever. So I was brewing away. Anyway, I got 75 litres going. I got my first stockist, Linda McFarland, in Low & Co. in Athlone. If you're ever in Athlone, go to Low & Co. It's class.
Oh, superb.
Yeah, and it's an organic shop, organic certified shop. Very few of them in Ireland. But yeah, Linda's a huge proponent for fermentation. She's the fermentation queen of the Midlands. And she said she'd take the product before she even saw it, right? I just said, I've got this kombucha video. She goes, okay, great, Jack, give me the product. That's it. So I started selling in there, got my first stockist. So going from 0 to 1 is probably the hardest thing to do because you just need to have the inner fire to be able to believe in yourself to do that. Got the first stockist, got the second stockist in Mullingar, and then we got about 8 or 9 stockists. And then this is only in the end of November, start of December. By the end of December, I'd sold maybe 300-400 bottles. All right, so I sold out before Christmas. I was like, yes, big, massive victory, you know. Then I got another 2-3 stockists. Then I went to JP McMahon in Tartar and Galway. So I said, right, I'm going to position the product high. So I need to know whether or not someone that I respects my product. So I went to JP McMahon, went into Tartar and Galway, handed in the samples. I was very confident. I said, right, I'm going to just go for this. And I hounded JP McMahon online. I found his email. I was hounding him on Instagram. He was away. I said, JP, how are you getting on? Get back to me, please. And eventually, he said, yeah, God. He goes, I don't know if this will work in an ear or cava, but I said, maybe it'll work in Tartar. And then he goes, maybe it would, yeah. And he goes, okay, great. I had the samples. Then he took it on for Tartar. So bang, I had my position in there, and I knew this is a premium product. Somebody that I really respect in the Irish food industry, that lots of people know, respects my branding and my product, our product. And I was able to have the confidence then to go into high-end retail and also go into, we got into loads of places, right? But it's very hard to keep stockists and keep things rolling over. And then local producers start popping up here, there, and everywhere. But we got into Ox in Belfast, and we got into a number of different places, and we knew that we could position the product in that way, and that was all by design from the very start. So from what went from 0 to 1, went to 10, went to 100, and now we have 150 independent stockists in Ireland, right? And our whole strategy from the very start was to work with independent businesses, okay? We lived in London, we saw how a localised economy can work very well, lots of markets and things like that, and encouraging people to make products and sell them as locally as they can. Luckily for us, we're only an hour away from Dublin, so it's very easy to access Dublin as a local market. Ireland's a very small place, you can get from the top to the bottom in a few hours. So, yeah, we're trying to push the fact that we're organic producers that make a small batch brewed kombucha in the Midlands of Ireland where lots of things don't happen. And I'm from Claghan and Offaly, and Forban is where I set up the brewery, and Claghan and Forban are disadvantaged areas. People are not encouraged. It's true. Anyway, it's a disadvantaged area, and I am trying to do something positive in a disadvantaged area where people are not normally encouraged to do things. So I want to show them that you actually can do things if you're very resilient and naive. So also, not only that, we actually worked very well with the local enterprise office. They gave us a feasibility grant. Once we tried to scale after that, they gave us a priming grant. They were very open to new and innovative products. We also got onto the New Frontiers program from that, which gives you a stipend of 15,000 euros for 6 months. So it's like 2,500 euros per month to pay a bit of a salary to keep you lit. So me and Tracy shared that and worked from there to build. after the New Frontiers program, they sort of brainwashed us to work with Enterprise Ireland for a while. We were a bit afraid. Like we were thinking, oh God, is this the man? And like, what are we really doing here? Like, do we want to expand like this? Can we do it like that? Do we want to go independent? And then we just said, okay, no, let's just go for it. And last July, Tracy applied for the female-only round of the CSF program, which I think is nearly gone now, and she won an investment of €50,000 for 10% of our business, right? So this year, we're going to scale on the back of that investment, and we're going to try and get into a multiple now this year and move our product forward from there. So that's the story of the business, right? And that's where we're at now at the minute.
And you're out of the bedroom.
We're out of the spare room. People told us not to call it a bedroom.
Spare room.
Because people are thinking about dirty socks and underpants. Kombucha room So yeah, we moved in after 6 months. The demand was so high, we had to move into commercial premises, and we've just taken an extra room in that premises in order to scale for this year. Yeah, so we managed to get out there after 6 months, and that's basically KO Kombucha in a nutshell, right? Now, the second thing I'd like to talk about is kombucha itself.
And grandma.
The grandma method.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So there's a split camp when it comes to kombucha, right? There's real, raw, live, small batch kombucha, and then there's a commercial soft drink called kombucha, right? So the categorization in the future will probably fall more into a low sugar alternative to high sugar soft drinks, and then a kombucha, right? And there's no regulation on any of this right now in Europe at all whatsoever. The only place in the world that has regulation on kombucha is Brazil. It was only brought in a couple of months ago. So the method that we use is called the grandma method, right? And in the industry, they call it the grandma method to try and make it look old-fashioned, or to make it look like, that's what your granny was doing out in the shed there a couple of years ago, or whatever. But we all know, right, that grandma's method was way better than the methods that are used now for farming, agriculture, food, everything, really, with regard to sustainability and actual health. So we went to Kombucha Summit in October over in Berlin, and they basically blew the lid wide open on a lot of the companies that are actually using concentrated acidifier rather than actual small batch brewed kombucha. Our batches are 100-litre batches. We'll scale in that way. You can't impose commercial brewing techniques from beer or wine on kombucha because it's just a different product altogether, right? It's a very low alcohol soft drink. It's brewed in tanks that are made for high alcohol drinks, or even just alcoholic beer drinks, things like that. So a lot of the companies are starting to open up now and say that it's not possible to do it the way that we're doing it, right? That's the industry jargon, is, well, you can't actually do it like that. You can do it like this, but you would want to be crazy, right, to do it like this. Because you spend every minute of your life talking about kombucha. Right? Now, I'm glad to do it here now. So anyway, what we're doing is we're making this small batch brewed real drink on a small scale that we plan to scale in a sustainable way in order to remain authentic, be honest, and provide a product generously to people to enjoy and have a real version of. We're not here to make money, although we will have to make money. Probably loads if possible. Right? But, yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say, really. Thank you very much.